Oh my goodness, this thing's beautiful.
Mike, don't move.
What?
Look up. Careful.
I don't want to open that while I'm not masked up.
I say we throw some gas in it, and we're gonna try to start this thing.
Where is this GTO? In one of these barns. You got quite a lot of buildings over here.
It's in my granary building here on the lean-to side. I drove it in there several years ago.
And was this a car that you had bought brand new, or you've owned for a long time?
I had a car just about like it before I got married, almost 50 years ago, and sold it when gas prices went crazy back in the mid-70s there. These GTOs never got real good gas mileage. Griswold, Iowa, which is kind of south of Des Moines, during an ice storm. It was on a farm outside of Griswold.
Wow.
And
oh my goodness, this thing's beautiful.
it has looked better in past days, let's put it that way.
Well, that's why we're here, but I mean, this one looks to be in really nice shape.
The body's in decent shape. The engine compartment never been gone through, and I always wanted to pull the engine transmission out, redo all of the engine compartment and everything. The older I get, the less I get done. So it was put away running. I did just put a new battery because I know the battery was no good. In 68, 69, the 70s had narrow scoops, and I think this is the first year that they went through with the white scoops.
Some of the pictures that I had seen online, the hood scoops were smaller and they were located up here.
The earlier ones
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And then they came and repositioned them down here. And then you're saying that these later models, they widened up the hood scoop for more air. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We're so excited to do it.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
I'm glad my daughter got a hold of you. I think in the long run, she wants this for a Christmas present someday.
So she had some alternative motive.
Yeah, I think so.
Ulterior motive. Well, I guess the next step is to air up these tires and see if any of these wheels are locked.
All right, Brent, these tires have seen better days, that's for sure. Check
You think they're going to fill up? Oh no, there's a crack right there.
I can stick my finger in there.
How does that cracking happen? Just from the weight of the rim on the tire?
Yeah, there's metal cores on the inside of these tires, and basically it wears away, and the pressure over here kinked the tire, on both sides.
But what would happen if you still drove on a tire like this if it was full of air?
Oh, this would definitely make a whole bunch of racket, for sure.
And would it blow up?
It would not be safe to drive on. I mean, I wouldn't, if you're just rolling down the street, probably not, but I can't imagine this thing on the highway be safe for many miles. Sit. Can you sit for me? Oh. Oh, stop. All right, I've just found probably the coolest piece of art I've seen in a barn or garage. It is a caffeine-free Pepsi airplane. This took some time to make, dude. This is like pretty intricate plane.
That's really well done. And it's symmetrical. Well, he might have crashed on this. All right, we're good. Help me up though.
Oh, thank you.
Here we go. I think she's gonna roll. Easy peasy.
Now as we start pulling this GTO out of this barn, I want to take a second to ask the question of the video, so leave your answers in the comments below. This was a bucket list car for us to get on the channel for you guys. If there was another car that you could see us film and make a detailing video on, what would it be and why? We're always searching for stuff and we're always curious what you guys would like to see, so let us know down below. And also, I want to set a like goal of 50,000 likes on this video. That's the biggest like goal I've ever set for a video on YouTube, but I think that we could smash that in the first weekend of this video being live. So if you're enjoying it so far, take a second and hit the like button, and also make sure you're subscribed to our channel because we have some really cool stuff coming up. And I guess I'll spill the beans now. We have what might be the biggest automotive collaboration in the history of YouTube coming in February. I'm not going to say who, but make sure you're subscribed for that because you don't want to miss it.
All right, we're about to strap down the car and then head back to our shop in Ohio, but I figured it'd be a good time to mention that we are driving around the United States looking for cars in condition like these, and we want to detail your car. If you have something that's cool and have something that's dirty, let us know. Email us or DM us on Instagram a picture of your car and where your vehicle is located, and we'd love to come out, load the car up into our trailer like this, take it back to Cleveland, and clean it for you absolutely for free. Just please make sure that it's dirty, and please make sure that it's some kind of enthusiast vehicle. Let's strap this down, head back to Cleveland because I can't talk much more, it's cold. So thankfully the shop is finally warm, and my first impression, and I think I even mentioned this when we picked it up, is the condition. It's in such great condition, and that gives me a lot of excitement to polish this because, a lot of the cars that we work on, they've been resprayed or they've been sitting out in the sun or there's damages, blotches, bad body work, etc., etc. And so a lot of times I'm putting all this work into polishing something that truly needs to be repainted. This car does not. It has awesome paint on it, and the before and after is going to be insane.
So I didn't realize how much I actually liked GTOs until I saw this car. I think of the time in the 1970s, this might be my favorite muscle car now. The front end of this car is just so aggressive. The Ram Air scoops, it makes it look kind of like it's snarling, like there's just so much horsepower behind this thing. I also like the two-tonality of this car with the black mirrors, the black top, the green paint.
And I am also a huge fan of the two-tone, but I'm pretty positive that this car at one point was a vinyl top because I can see a ton of sand marks. So my assumption is at some point when they went to repaint the car, they actually removed the vinyl top and then they sprayed it black. But I don't know if that was the most common option that they offered. Let me know in the comments below if that was more common or less common to have the top vinyl. And I really think that we might be able to get this thing running. That's why we're gonna have the Power and Performance guys come in 2 days to try and get this car running again. It's Tuesday and we have a ton of work to do. So I think we're gonna go ahead and get started with the detailing and, like usual, get started with the wheels.
Now, as we start cleaning the wheels, I wanted to mention if you guys are interested in any of the products you see us using in this video, they're all linked in the description below. But I also want to mention a quick story that my dad told me about. I had no idea. So shout out to Paul. I'm sure a lot of you watching may already know this, but the GTO actually got its design from the man who created DeLorean, which was John DeLorean. So John DeLorean was an up-and-coming engineer and executive at Pontiac, and he helped with innovation on projects like the Tempest, and eventually they wanted to create a high-performance car aimed at younger buyers. And their idea was simple. They took a mid-size Tempest, they equipped it with a powerful V8 engine from the full-size Pontiac lineup, and we got the GTO. So just a fun fact, if you didn't know, DeLorean and the GTO are connected.
All right, me and Brent are getting through the pre-washing process on this GTO, and I found a sticker on the car that I'm not sure what it really means, but maybe you guys know and can let me know. Why is Tigger on here? Is that something similar to how Dodge had the Roadrunner on their cars of the time? I'm not sure. I had no idea that that would have anything to do with this car, but let me know below if there's something that I don't know, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that actually looks like an early version of him too. Out of curiosity, this is just for my own personal wondering. What is the reason that you watch our videos? I enjoy making them because I love making entertaining stuff and helping people who have anxiety, mental health issues, OCD, but I also like watching satisfying stuff to fall asleep at night myself, like that one guy who fixes and takes care of cows' hooves. But I'm just curious, why do you watch our videos?
We just finished the pre-wash on this GTO and the paint is already looking way, way better, but now we have to check out the engine bay. So I think this is the first and only car that we've had here, Brent, correct me if I'm wrong, that's had hood pins on it.
I was gonna say, does this car come with these?
No, this car doesn't. I'm not sure if the Judge does or not. You guys let me know. This is a 6.6 liter, 400 cubic inch V8 that had 300 horsepower back in the day. Now in 71, I know that they had some restrictions going with these cars, so this is actually down on power from previous models. And I know that this isn't the big block out of the Judge, which is a 455 high output motor. But what other differences besides that were there between the two cars? If you could let us know down below, I'd love to learn more about it. It doesn't look to be half bad. It doesn't seem like there has been any mice. Maybe a little bit. Wires are looking good. Pretty all right compared to some of the stuff we've seen on this channel.
But do you think the power and performance guys can get this thing to start?
Oh, I have belief in them for sure that they can get this thing running. We're gonna use our citrus degreaser to get this engine all ungreasified so that they have a clean start to work with.
Ungreasified?
You like that?
All right, so now that the vehicle's all washed, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to remove the iron, and that's what we usually talk about at this point. But simultaneously, when we are spraying our iron remover all over the paint, we kind of use it as an iron remover as well as a lubricant. But I wanted to show you guys the other part of that equation, which is the clay mitt. And what we use the clay mitt for is to not only remove iron particulate, but other little sediment particulate, other pieces of really microscopic dirt that gets lodged in your vehicle's clear coat. So we use the synthetic clay to go ahead and pick that up out of the paint. That way when I'm polishing, I'm not polishing dirt and particulate into the paint. That way I can get the finish that I'm looking for, because otherwise I'm literally just picking up dirt and then scratching the paint further. In this case, I'm not going to use our iron remover yet. I just want to show you guys what the clay mitt actually does on its own. I'm going to try and get my microphone really close so you can hear kind of the grittiness. It almost sounds like sandpaper. What this is going to do is going to pick up all that sediment and hopefully make it sound a lot smoother and remove all of that sediment. That way, I'm not polishing it back into the vehicle's paint. And do the same exact test, and it should sound much more smooth. And yes, claying the car does scratch the paint. It does mar the paint. That's the inevitable. Unfortunately, you're not going to get around that. But in this case, I'm going to be polishing this car. So it's a necessary step in order to make sure that I have the cleanest paint to polish. This car is going to end up looking brand new.
And another spot that I love to use our iron kryptonite on is when metal or chrome has rust on it. I'll spray it on, let it sit for a couple seconds, then start using steel wool to remove it. And then I'll come back with some metal polish and work that in, followed by some isopropyl alcohol to remove all the residue, and it leaves a really, really nice clean finish. But that's just another way that you can use iron remover. You don't just have to use it on the car's paint.
All right, Mike, tell me about the interior of this car.
That's how you're gonna start it? All right, on the interior of this GTO, it is an interesting place to be. I've never sat so low in a car with a dashboard so high. Now, I am a little bit shorter, but I do feel like my line of sight is pretty blocked by this humongous dashboard, which sadly does have a crack in it. That usually happens when vehicles go through heat cycling. So that's why storing a vehicle in a heated and cool garage is really important, and out of sunlight. Sunlight beats up interiors big time and discolors them as well. But besides that, I actually really like the layout, and I especially like the GTO logo on this car right on the door. As you can see, I think that's called metal brushing. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but I really like that little brushing look, and it has that same look here. Sadly, somebody ripped the radio out of this bad boy. I think it looks really, really cool. And you typically see stuff like this on like modern day lowriders, or even lowriders back in the day. This was exterior parts of the car to add a little bit of flair to the look. So I think it actually adds a little kiss of flair to this interior. I also love the steering wheel on this car just because I'm infatuated with cars that have multiple buttons for the horn. No other button on here does anything. These are all for the horn.
Wait, Mike, don't move.
What?
Look up.
This?
Do you see it?
This? Is that what we're
Careful.
talking about?
Careful.
I don't want to open that while I'm not masked up. But we have some pests that have been in this car, and also the condition, as we can see, is this thing's got a lot of mildew and mold buildup.
There's one more thing that I noticed that I want to hand to you, and you can show the viewers. You ready? It's right back here. I'm going to pick it up, and then you can show everyone what it says.
Blockbuster? A free movie rental to 1996? Okay. This has been sitting in here for a long time. Sadly, Blockbuster is no more, except for I think there still might be one store open. What the heck?
I think for everyone who thinks we fake these videos, that's proof right there that we don't.
Yeah, and it's got some little mouse nibbles on it. When I was a kid, I used to go to Blockbuster all the time, and it switched over to Family Video, and then now it is a Dollar General. So those beautiful times have since passed, where you can walk around the Blockbuster and find games and movies that you want to rent, and this is just a little piece of history that we found in this car.
So to clean the interior, we're going to start by taking the seats out. That way we can access a lot more, and we're going to vacuum the floors. Now with the seats done, we're going to keep doing the interior. And if you're wondering what's doing such amazing work to make the interior look brand new, that's the WD Auto Supply interior cleaner. You can get it in the description below. And now for all that satisfying extraction goodness.
All right, now it's time to polish the Pontiac GTO, and I could not be more excited to be working on a vehicle with such nice paint. But my first impression is that there's not much oxidation, which is great, but there are some areas that have some deeper scratches, like here on the hood. We have some on the front fender here, and then a lot on the roof line, probably just as much as the rest of the car, but obviously the roof is black, so it's going to show more. So my goal is going to be to compound some of the more difficult problem areas to remove those scratches, and then I'll finish up with a one-step polish to really make that color pop. I'm very, very excited to get my hands on this one because the end result is going to be awesome. All right, now it's time to deodorize the car. And for that, we are going to be using a chlorine tablet that we're going to drop in this plastic cup of water. What's going to happen is it's going to bubble and gurgle, and it's going to release chlorine dioxide, which will help purify the air and remove any of that nasty mildew smell that is left. Once we finish with that, we will go ahead and use an ozone machine to kill any of the bacteria or mold that's left in the car, and it should be smelling pretty fresh when we're all done. The Pontiac GTO is all finished. It looks beautiful, and now it's time to try and get it running. So we have the power and performance guys coming to hopefully drain the gas and see if we can get this baby fired up. And I think they should be here any moment. And there they are. Tim, Adam.
Hey, buddy.
What's up,
happening?
Good to see you
How's
guys.
it going?
Oh my goodness, what have we got?
Look at that car.
Ooh-wee.
That is cool.
It's a little bit nicer than some of the other ones we brought you guys' way.
Yes, this one's very solid. I like it.
This color is fantastic. I want a Fender Stratocaster in this color. That way I could buy this car from you or whoever's car it is, and I can drive it and play the guitar while I'm driving.
I'm pretty sure at one point this was a vinyl top car. I don't know how many of the vinyl tops that they made, if that was a common option that, you know, you kind of, or maybe you had to spec the car out to get a hard top, but I think it looks great.
Yeah, it was an option on these cars, and this could have potentially been a vinyl top car, especially with all the trim and everything.
It's probably
that it
very
has.
likely that it was, I would think.
Yeah,
and it's
very
definitely
common.
been painted. It is a sick color combo.
I love how the black and the tires, you know,
Yeah, it kind of
it's-
pulls it all together.
It's perfect, yeah.
And obviously the paint scheme or livery of or whatever of a car can really make that big of a difference. You know, if this were body colored, it would look like a whole different car.
Now, one of the questions we were getting a lot of in the community post is if it's a true Ram Air vehicle, how would we tell?
Well, let's go ahead and open the hood and take a look at the air intake.
Because it's got scoops. It's wide open.
Do you have the air cleaner for it?
We do. It's clean and polished over there.
So I'm not sure specifically on these Pontiac that they had a special air cleaner that might have drawn air directly from that or had like extensions from it to pull it farther forward to feed it into the carburetor. Some cars did have things like that, like there's the shaker hood and the Mopars. This just looks like a generic aftermarket air filter on there. I'm not sure what a GTO would have had with that hood and on top of the motor to make it a true Ram Air.
It's a Ram Air hood.
That's for sure.
It's a Ram Air hood. Now, if it's original to the car, couldn't say that for sure.
The good news is that the owner replaced the battery, so we don't have to buy one this time around. So it's a fresh battery. We don't have to use the jump boxes. Well, hopefully we don't have to use the jump
Depends on
box.
how much it doesn't want to turn over.
Exactly. We also bought another tool to help us with some of these startups or will it run portions of our videos, and it's a gas extraction tool.
No, I mean, that's going to come in handy every time we do this.
Yeah, we probably should have bought one years ago.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to extract the old gasoline out. So we got the fuel cap off. Luckily, the fill neck is actually really short on these cars. It's right behind the license plate, and the tank is directly underneath the trunk. So we're gonna see if there's any gas in there, which we've run into many situations where there was no gas in there. So maybe this will be one of those situations. I think we're dry.
That's a good thing, right?
So conveniently, like multiple other cars that we've had, the tank is dry. So that means we need to put some fuel in here as the first step for hopefully getting this thing running. All right, so let's go ahead and look things over while we're waiting on some fresh gas because we know that tank's empty. First thing we're gonna do is come over here, check the oil. Look at that, we got some oil. A little bit dark, but that's all right for right now. This thing definitely needs some work beyond just getting it running. You can see some of these wires are exposed. There's some weird wiring that's been kind of Frenched in here a little bit. And that's all stuff that you're gonna wanna have to go through at some point. But for right now, we just wanna hear this thing run. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Adam.
What transmission's in this thing?
I have no idea, but it's automatic, so maybe a turbo 400, I don't know.
Okay.
What transmission did they use?
Look at that. We got the transmission dipstick right there. I was just missing it. Check that. We got fluid there.
Speaking of transmission fluid, this looks like transmission fluid, but it's not. It's WD Detailing's Cherry Suds, mixed in-house here at WD Detailing. Take a look at that beautiful product. It could be mistaken for transmission fluid, but it's not. It is a delicious pH-neutral car shampoo. Back to your video. All right. You want to try and crank it?
That was good.
Oh, is that the alarm? Some white? Is it a wiper motor or something?
I don't quite know what this is.
It sounds like that old cartoon noise.
But it looks like a relay up here. I was wondering if I could just unplug it.
Speaking of unplug, if you ever just want to unplug and forget about all your worries here at WD Detailing, you can use the Purple Rain Wheel Cleaner because it's going to unplug all your wheel problems from your life here at WD Detailing. All right, we going to try and crank it?
Yes, sir. Is it in park?
It is. Well, the shifter says it is. I'm going to put my foot on the brake.
There we go.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and give it a crank.
All right, here we go. Just nothing.
Nothing? Not even a click? Oh, look at that.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Looks like it's a grounding issue because I moved the ground on the jump pack over here directly to the motor and it actually cranked over.
All right, do it. That's sick.
All right, we got to take it outside. Some donuts.
Let's hear it run one more time. Isn't that great?
Sounds beautiful.
All right, guys, you just saw that car start after sitting for, what, 12 years? That makes our video as exciting as possible for us when we get to see the cars that we work on actually run like that. But it does have some other issues that I'm sure Adam told you guys about. And so we went ahead and called the owner, Bob, and asked what he would like us to do, if he wanted us to bring it back, or if he wanted Adam to diagnose it and potentially fix it. So that's going to be the plan of action. And guys, you did it again. I can't believe.
Awesome. That one ran, and it ran great. That's the best part. Is not only did it run, like some of them that just kind of chugged along and kind of sputtered and smoked, that one fired up and ran fantastic.
I was on a phone call in here and I heard it go. I was like, oh. I was like jumping up and down the window. With that being said, guys, go subscribe to Power and Performance. These guys seriously help us out so much, and they're awesome people. We're very lucky to have met them, and we're very lucky to have you guys as viewers. And if you like this, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe, and we're going to see you next week.
And then buy their products if you haven't already. I mean, come on.
Dude, you're going to keep selling out for us. We're going to have to
It's
hire
easier
you.
for me to sell it than you, because I don't want to.